My brother's ex-girlfriend was framed for something she did not do, and you know what? My sister-in-law, the girl he's married to now, is ridiculous. And then I found out she was behind all of this, and now she's coming after me.
No matter how much you try to hide it or run from it, the truth always comes out. I know this, and I know that telling the truth is the right thing to do. But what if the truth is going to destroy everything? Especially if it comes from me. That's the dilemma I'm facing right now, and I have no idea what to do. Actually, I'm hoping you guys can help me with it. To fully understand my problem, you guys are going to need to understand my relationship with my brother and sister-in-law. So let's start there. I'm 24, male. I was practically raised by my brother William. After our parents passed away in a bad crash. They passed away when I was young, and my brother was in his early 20s. Since then, he's been looking after me, and he took good care of me until I learned to take care of myself. Can you imagine taking full responsibility for a kid during your early 20s? I have no idea how Will did it while working on a company, and making it all look like light work. I'm older than he was when he started looking after me, and I don't think I can even look after a child for more than a day. Forgetting to take full responsibility, you can probably infer from my description of him that I truly love and respect him. Like I said, Will raised me and is the closest thing to a parent that I actually have. Still, no matter how much I talked about how great of a person Will is, it's still not enough to actually describe him. I really love my brother, and he's truly an amazing person, which is one of the main reasons why I'm having a tough time in making this decision. Since Will did raise me, I've always been around his company since it started. I've always helped around, and so when I started going to college, I also started working part-time for him. And slowly that turned into a full-time job. I was very happy working under my brother, whom I admired and aimed to be like someday. My sister-in-law, Camila, came into the picture about 5 years ago, when I was still working part-time and was living with Will. He isn't the type of person to share very personal details with me, so I had to slowly figure out that he was finally dating someone else after taking some time off because of his breakup. He went through a bad one. A few months later, he introduces me to her. I was delighted to see that she made him very happy. Camila said that they met randomly at a coffee shop and had so much in common that they were instantly attracted to each other. And it was true, it felt like they were perfect for one another. As more months passed, their relationship got deep, and my brother got happier almost a year and a half later. He asked me about proposing. I had no reason to say no, but it actually worried me because I took this as a sign that I needed to move out. It turns out I was right because a few days later, my future sister-in-law tells me that the only reason she had not moved in yet was because Will had said that he would let her move in only after I moved out. She was very nice about it and did not ask me to move out. She just told me that we could all stay together. But I told her that she didn't have anything to worry about. After that, they got engaged and I moved out. So she moved in, and everybody lived happily ever after, right? Unfortunately, that's not how real life works. So, after a few months, they get married. I assumed that they were very happy with each other, but a week ago, I found out, I was wrong. At the very least, my sister-in-law isn't happy because if she were, she would not be cheating on him. Yeah, that's right, I found out that she's a cheater, or at least cheated once on my brother. Now, before I tell you how I found out, I want to make one thing crystal clear. I have a great relationship with my sister-in-law. I've always liked her, and I believed that she was the best partner for my brother until I found out that she was sleeping outside of her marriage. So one day, I was out on a date and had taken a half day off from the office. After that date, I decided to buy some clothing and ran into my sister-in-law, Camila, who looked very surprised to see me. She was actually shocked a little bit, and it took her a little bit longer to regain her composure. She then said that she was just out shopping with friends, and after a small chit-chat, she left. For some reason, I felt that she was being really weird, so I followed her. I was not suspecting anything, but just felt that something was wrong, and thought that she could be possibly in danger. When I followed her, I noticed that a guy was walking with her, maintaining a safe distance. As soon as they reached where I assumed was a safe place, they came together and started holding hands. I watched them go out, get into her car, and leave. I couldn't see the guy clearly, and I immediately called my brother because I wanted to check something. I told him I saw sister-in-law, and he wasn't surprised because he believed that she was out with her female best friend. I didn't tell him anything more because I first wanted to see what was going on before causing a huge misunderstanding. I know, maybe I should have told him, but I did not. Then I thought of doing something to check what was actually going on. I knew that she did not go to her house because that would be stupid. So I called her and asked my sister-in-law if I could drop by her house because I needed to do something there. Since she was supposed to be at her best friend's place, which wasn't very far, I knew she could not say no, as she thought that my brother would find out and suspect her. So I waited near her place until I saw her car coming, and then I told her I changed my plans because of an emergency and was going to come in at dinner time. I apologized and she happily accepted, and then I followed her car. I know it was not really a great thing to do, but what I found made it all worth it. Yeah, I found the guy that she was cheating on my brother with as she stopped in front of a house far away and kissed him. He opened up the door and there she did it, and he carried her in. I once again could not see the guy clearly, but that did not matter. It broke my heart that my sister-in-law was doing something, and I still cannot imagine how my brother is going to react to this information. Yes, if it's not clear to you by now, I have not told my brother or anyone anything about the affair. That day, I made sure that I was positive that she was cheating, and after I found out, I immediately regretted making sure that she was. Knowing, it put me in a spot that I would not be in only if I had doubt. You see, it's been a few days, and now I'm in a position where I feel I cannot just sit idle and let sister-in-law get away with all this. But I also don't want to be the person, the bearer of bad news that tells my brother that the second person he fully committed to and loved cheated. This is going to break him, and I don't know if this time around he can get out of it. He's barely been able to last time, and most of it was because I was still young, and he had a responsibility towards me that he could not ignore. This time, I'm positive that he will not be able to take it. Also, how could my sister-in-law do this to my brother? I've not exaggerated at all, and he's literally the best guy you can marry. I understand that I can be a little biased and that I have no idea what's going on with their marriage internally, but it can't be this bad. Right now, I'm stuck trying to make a decision between helping my brother and harming him with his crazy news, as both my choices seem bad. If I tell him, I harm him and help him, and if I don't, I still do both. But I also know that I can't really keep it in for long, as not telling him is as bad as betraying him. Plus, there's a good chance that even if I don't tell him, he's going to find out naturally, and I can't shield him from this forever. So, good people on the internet, help me solve this dilemma. Did I need to tell my brother about his wife, whom he loves unconditionally but will not be able to forgive, is having an affair? Or do I keep my little mouth shut, zipped and sealed, and let him live in a lie of a marriage? I know that there's no way that I can do the second option, but I don't want to do the first either. Currently, I don't know what to do. So guys, please, I'm begging you, give me some sort of suggestion. Update number 1. Hey guys, it's been a week and I finally made a decision. I know it took some time and I do apologize if this is not the decision you guys wanted me to take. But you have to understand that I really do not want to hurt my brother whatsoever. So instead of telling him, I thought that it would be better to confront my sister-in-law. This is how I came to the decision. So after my last update, I was in a pretty bad dilemma about what I needed to do. I felt that it was my responsibility to inform my brother what was going on, but I still did not want to hurt him and cause him a lot of mental pain. Also, I felt that I needed to give my sister-in-law a chance to explain what's going on. I went to Will's house when he was out for a meeting and asked my sister-in-law if there was any problems in their marriage. She was surprised by my question and told me that everything was okay and I did not need to worry about my brother. Then I asked her if she was doing fine or if she was going through something, and she just said no. She seemed kind of offended that I would think that they were not okay and asked me why I was asking these weird questions. At this point, I decided to confront her about the things that I've seen. I told her how I saw her leave with a guy, and before she came up with any excuse, I told her about seeing them together at a house. As soon as I said that, I for sure knew that she was a cheater. My sister's expression changed, and tears started welling up in her eyes. She then told me that she did not mean to cheat on my brother, but it just happened. Camila told me with full honesty that it was a mistake, and it was not going to happen again. She then believed that I already knew and told me that she had made a mistake sleeping with David, and I could not believe my little ears. David is one of the oldest employees of our company and one of the people my brother trusts the most. How could both of them do this? Seeing my reaction to the news, Camila understood that I had not recognized the guy and immediately tried to take it back. The damage was done. So I asked her what my brother had done to deserve this. And with tears flowing, she said nothing, and that she and David were the wrong people here. She said that she was frustrated and was fighting with my brother for many, many months. And David was also fighting with his wife, and they obviously knew each other. They started texting, sharing problems, and helping each other, and it resulted in them having an affair, which both of them admitted was a mistake. She promised that nothing like this was ever going to happen again, and she begged me not to tell my brother anything. I told her sorry, that's not possible, and I wanted her to tell him everything. She said she didn't want to, and I asked what she would do or prefer if I would say it myself to him. I gave her an ultimatum that either she could come clean about everything with Will, or I would have to do it for her. After crying a little, she agreed and asked me to give her some time to muster up the courage. Well, I understood. It's been a few days since then, and sister-in-law's going to tell Will any day now. I hope I did the right thing by asking her to come clean, as I believe this is a better way than me telling him, right? Update number 2. I should have listened to you guys because it's been almost 2 weeks, and right now I'm sitting here regretting trusting Camila. If I had just told Will myself without worrying about anything, I would not be in this mess today. Well, I'm sure you're confused, so let me explain. Almost a week after my last update, something major happened, and just like you guys, I was expecting it to be my sister-in-law coming clean. Well, she did tell Will something, but it was not the same as we expected. So one day, my brother called me to the office, and it sounded like the issue was serious. When I went in, he looked heartbroken. I assumed that Camila had told him everything, and he asked me to sit down and told me I was going through something. I should have told him. I asked what he's talking about. He then asked me once more if I was actually going through something that could explain what he found. I told him I have no clue what he's talking about, and for some reason this had made him very mad. My brother rarely gets mad, so I was sure this was a big issue. He then tells me that a good amount of company funds were missing from our account and asked me if I knew anything about it. I simply told him I have no idea, and then he screamed at me, saying how much I was going to lie to him, and I said I was not lying, and I did not know anything about it. He lost it. He told me that he knew for sure that I've taken the funds and the money was found in a separate account linked to me. On the verge of tears, he asked me how I could do this to him. I said I wouldn't. I couldn't. I told him that I was being framed and obviously it looked like a stupid way to fool him. So he did not believe me. He asked me to get out of his face and the company and to never show my snake face to him ever again. At this point, I was sure that sister-in-law framed me, probably using David, and there was nothing that I could do. Before leaving, I told him that sister-in-law was cheating, and that this was her doing, and he immediately slapped me and asked security to take me out before he got me arrested for stealing. While I was getting dragged out, I saw sister-in-law and David standing on the way to my brother's office, and they cracked a little small smile towards me. It's been a week since then, and it still makes my blood boil that I believed that witch and let her frame me like this. But I guess there's no way I could have known that this would happen. My brother has fired me and cut all contact, but I can't let him get tricked like this, so what do I do now? Update number 3. Hey guys, it's been almost a month and you're not going to believe what happened. Firstly, let me start this by saying that for the past few weeks I've been kinda depressed because of the situation I'm in. Up until a week ago, I seriously thought that I had no way of convincing my brother and was considering the idea of letting all of this go. But how could I let my brother go? This is the same man who raised me and took care of me, and you have no idea how much I cursed at myself for not telling him and causing him so much pain. He believes I betrayed him and that the person he raised was a thief. No matter how dire the situation, I cannot let him keep thinking that. So, I kept telling myself simply that with time, patience, and a little bit of planning, I could expose my sister-in-law and David and free my brother from this toxic woman. But the more time passed, the more I realized how helpless I was. And since my brother refused to even see my text or receive my calls, I didn't know what I could do. Then something very interesting happened. I actually have to explain something before I move further with what happened. So if anyone remembers, I talked about how my brother had a bad breakup before he met Camila. He was in a relationship with Skylar for about 3 years and broke up with her after her cheating. Well, thanks to the same, Skylar contacted me and tried to meet with me. I was rightfully very surprised and have no idea what she wanted. So the first few times I ignored her and she texted me that she wants to help me with what's going on. I told her it's none of her beeswax, but she surprised me by asking if Camila had me too. I asked her how she had any idea about this, and then she dropped the bomb. She said that Camila did not meet my brother by chance and was actually the reason Will broke up with Skylar. Well, I was confused, because Will met Camila several months after the breakup, but this got me interested for sure. So I met with her. She explained that she contacted me to help me and my brother. She said that she always did and still cared about us, and taking down with Camila was just a really great bonus for her. She said that there was nothing at all that would make her happier than seeing Camila burn. So she explained to me what happened with her and Camila. And this is the gist of it, guys. So Camila was actually her friend who lived in another city, and they met when she had been dating Will for almost 2 years. They became fast friends, but Camila was never free to come visit our city, so Will and she never met. Skylar had also mentioned her a few times, so Will never knew her either. After hearing a lot about this perfect guy from Skylar, Camila gets interested and came to the city to visit. She slowly starts to manipulate Skylar into just talking to her ex-boyfriend, sent him to her home and created some fake proof that looked convincing, and then she made the ex-boyfriend confess everything to Will, which made the case worse and Skylar got kicked out. She then used the information she got from Skylar to slowly get closer to Will and manipulate him into liking her, which resulted in them eventually getting married. Then she thinks that Camila pushed me out of the house to better manipulate Will, and when I threatened her, she did the same thing to me. But that was her last big mistake, and I'm going to make sure it's going to cost her a lot. I felt really bad listening to what happened to Skylar and have shook hands with her. I'm sure that I can't take down sister-in-law alone, so I think it's a good idea to work together. We're planning something, and I'll let you guys know what happens in the next updates. Final updates, update number 4. Hey guys, it's been 2 long months, and I'm happy to tell you that the things have gone really well for me. It would be jumping the gun if I told you what happened directly, so let me continue where I left off. So me and Skylar shook hands and made a plan of how we could expose Camila. We came up with an idea, and even though it was pretty risky, we decided to run with it. I was in charge of collecting evidence of sister-in-law cheating with David, while Skylar was going to try to get closer to Camila to get even more evidence from her. I figured she would never suspect that we could be working together, and since Camila thinks Skylar has no idea about the fact that she caused the breakup, I felt that this could work. Camila actually believes that Skylar cut her off because she started dating her ex. So, Skylar approached her in such a way that she would not look suspicious and told her that she just wanted the friendship back. She told her that she did not care if she started dating her ex and had gotten over him. This gamble, it paid off, and sister-in-law was actually glad to have her friend back. I can't believe she snaked her, but she still wants her friendship, right? So, for about a month, I tried my best to stalk and watch and collect as much proof of sister-in-law cheating as possible. But she was very careful, and I did not find much, and our luck changed one day, when Camila confessed to Skylar that she was having an affair with David, and she managed to get it on a recording. You know, this was really great, and after about another week, we had everything we needed. I still knew that coming from a brother he kicked out an ex-girlfriend, this proof would not look as good, but I already had a plan for that. So I sent the voice of Camila confessing to David and told him if he did not come to this address in 5 minutes without telling anybody, then his marriage would be the first thing I destroy. Even though I told him not to, I knew he would tell Camila, and both of them showed up at the place. As soon as I let them in, Camila started threatening me that I was playing with fire. I asked her to shut up, and told them how they could do this. Camila openly said that she loved my brother, but she sometimes needed things outside too. And if I had not threatened her, she would have never done this to me. She said that David and she just have a relationship where they help each other out, and there's no feelings involved. I told her that's a stupid way of thinking that we're actually innocent. I then asked Skylar to come in and ask my sister-in-law if she had good reason behind the things that she did to her. She was shocked and could not say a word. Skylar asked why, and she said that she did feel bad, but she wanted Will more than her, and took him when she got the chance. I asked her if that was not a manipulation. She said everything was fair in love and war. She then said that she's not scared of a recording or a picture or even a video, and I could try 100 years, and she would still find a loophole to make Will believe that she has not done anything. I told her that I believe her, I do, and I knew I could not convince my brother with any amount of proof against them. And then I cracked a smile and said, that's why I brought him here. Right then my brother came out of the bathroom and he punched David square in the face and just looked at Camila with anger. He didn't say anything except that you were not the woman I married. And he left, just like that. They didn't know that I made Skylar trick my own brother into coming here and begged him to stay for just 10 minutes in the bathroom. A day later, he apologizes to me and also to Skylar for everything he did. But we didn't mind, it was not his fault. It's been 2 weeks since then, and obviously Camila got kicked out of the house and is getting a divorce. David got kicked out of the job, and I made sure his wife found out real fast. Oh, they're getting divorced. I've moved back in with my bro. And although I would love to say he's doing very well, he's not. He's depressed, but he'll get better with time. And I'll make sure to be there for him this time because it's been tough. Now, before I end this, I want to say thank you to Skylar. You've helped me a lot and got rid of that demon of a woman. Oh, cheers.